So let's get this going. All right. So ship container left Hawaii and traveled towards Madagascar. Where is Madagascar?
Next to Africa.
Next to Africa. So that's a pretty long trip. Average speed of 10 kilometers per hour. Cruise ship left the same time traveling the opposite direction with an average speed of 20 kilometers per hour. How long does it take a cruise ship to travel before the vessels are 30 kilometers apart? All right, so let's draw this out, get a little map. Notice that these are very similar to those two problems yesterday that were opposite directions, so we kind of have Hawaii in the middle. Yeah, Madagascar over here, and then we're going opposite direction this way. I guess that would be, well, that could be either direction. That could be South America, depending if you're going east or west. So let's see here. Cruise ship left. Okay, so we're going what? 10 miles an hour here from Hawaii to kilometers. That's very, very slow. But you're on a cruise ship. You don't want to be going too fast. It gets pretty rocky. Cruise ship left at the same time, travels in opposite direction with an average speed of 20. So opposite direction, we know we're going to 20. Good. And this is actually not really a difficult question. Look, what's the question? Yeah. How long will it take for the 30 kilometers apart?
1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour. Yeah, in 1 hour this is going to go 10, and 1 hour this is going to go 20, and they'll be 30 kilometers apart. So sometimes just some basic sense will let us know that. If we wanted to solve this using the algebra regardless, like what if it didn't say 30, what if it said like 900, what would you do? Okay, since they left at the same time, their time in the water, their time traveling is the same, so they're both t. So if it said left 6 hours earlier, then you can do one of them t minus 6, depending which one left later, which one left earlier, you know. But on this particular case, they're the same amount of time, so we just have to do 20 kilometers per hour by times how many hours plus 10 kilometers per hour times how many hours will equal 30, and that will just give us the same answer we could get by looking at the graph. And just make sure you know your units. This is 1 what? 1 hour. Okay. So a majority of these will be going away from each other. So as opposed to them being equal to each other, we're going to add up the two distances. This distance from here to here, which is 20 times t, plus this distance from here to here, which is 10 times t, add up to 30. Okay, good. Okay, not too bad. Okay, another example. Talk about this a little bit. Again, freight train left Bangalore. Anybody know where Bangalore is? Bangalore? Not quite sure. Why not look it up? India. Alright, looks like the middle of India. Alright, that's where we are. Alright, so freight train left Bangalore. Traveled east, average speed of 85 kilometers. Okay, write that in. Yes. It's arbitrary, anywhere you want. Yeah, middle, just if you're just starting one place and going one way and going another. And let's label this FT, freight train, so we know what we're talking about. So going this direction is freight train. And going the other direction, diesel train left 12 hours later. So again, this is going to be a little bit later. And same speed though. And this is the DT, diesel train. Now, how do we do the time? Which one was running longer? The diesel or the freight?
Right.
Freight. So yeah, the diesel we can say that's 12 hours less. And this is T. So yeah, this is T. This is whatever 12 hours less than T. So yeah, a lot less driving or running for the diesel train. Good. And we know that these are all together how many miles apart? Yeah, all together 1,870 kilometers apart. So we know that these two add up to that distance. And I'll let you guys solve that. What will the answer be here? What will the answer be to the equation? Okay, what will this give you? What is T on this particular problem? Time for which one?
First one.
What do you mean first one?
Freight train.
Freight train. So when you solve this equation, note that you get the time for the freight train, because that's which one is, that's T right there. That's the freight train. What does the question ask you?
How long
Yeah. So the question asks you about the time of the diesel train. So be very careful not to say, well, I solved the equation, so that's the answer for the problem because I solved the equation. It's asking you for the diesel train. So you need to get an answer and actually find out what the answer minus 12 is. That's the time for the diesel train. So that's going to be your final answer. Very important to ask yourself, is the equation answering the question, or do you need to take the answer from the equation and do a little bit more with it to find out what the real answer to the problem is? Okay. So sometimes you can get this equation right, but you get the answer to the question wrong because you didn't answer the actual question. Good. Let's see. Of the remaining three, which one? I mean, remaining four. Which one do you want to do? Do a cruise ship one. You want to do the White House one? Ash. 5 airport one. That's a good one. All right. Again, always scan the problem, compare it to what we did before. These are opposite directions. Opposite, opposite. Good. And we're leaving the AP airport. Opposite directions. And we got Ashley going one direction. And we got Willie going another direction. We know they're going to end up 425 apart. let's see here. We want to find out what Ashley's speed is. So the variable we're trying to work on is R. And what do we know about Willie's speed? Yeah, 15 slower than Ashley. So if Ashley is going R, like 30, we know Willie's going 15 less than that, 15. Ashley's going 40, Willie's going 15 less than that, 25. So it's always 15 less than whatever Ashley's going. Okay, now how long are each driving? Are they driving the same? Definitely not, right? Because one waited 3 hours, so they're not driving the same. So who drove more, Willie or Ashley? Ashley left the airport 3 hours before Willie, so yeah, definitely. How long did Willie drive?
3 hours drive.
So yeah, Willie drove in the opposite direction, going 15 miles an hour slower than Ashley for 2 hours. So if you kind of ignore everything we already talked about and that Willie's going slower, ignore all that, say Willie drove for 2 hours, after which they came. So we know Willie drove 2 hours. So again, the hardest thing about these math problems is the English. Can you read that long sentence with a bunch of information and say, okay, we already did the whole rate thing. What does the other information say? You ignore the rate stuff. Pretty clearly it says Willie drove for 2 hours. But that's not necessarily obvious when there's so much in front of you. So if Willie drove for 2 hours, how long did Ashley drive?
5 hours.
5 hours? How do we know that? Yeah, Ashley left the airport 3 hours before Willie. So 3 hours she was driving, and then the 2 more hours that both of them were driving at the same time. So that's 5 hours together. Again, more reading comprehension, critical thinking. It doesn't say flat out Ashley drove 5 hours. You have to put the information together on your own. Okay. And then I'll let you guys finish up and solve it. Will the answer to the equation be the answer to the question here?
No.
So you'll solve the equation, you'll get R equals. Is that the answer to the question up here?
No.
So what is Ashley's speed? Well, looking here, what is Ashley's speed? R. So yeah, the answer to this question, this equation, will be the answer to this question. They are the same thing this time. If they asked you what was Willie's speed, you'd know you had to take R equals, and Willie's speed is R minus 15, and that would be Willie's speed. If they ask how long did Ashley drive for, like how many kilometers, you'd know you have to take the rate that she went, she drove at, how fast she drove, and multiply it by 5 hours. And that would give you how many kilometers total she drove. So always ask yourself that. Okay. Alright, good. So I'm going to give you guys the rest of the period, which is a good 20 minutes, just to finish the few that we started and do the other 3. So it's a good amount of time for each problem. Only if you work the whole time and don't stop and waste any time will you finish. Remember, this is due at the end of the period. No, you can't turn in late. No, you can't turn in tomorrow or after school. So you have to work the whole period to get it done on time. Okay? That just keeps everybody busy and on task. And I think there's 3 problems in 20 minutes. I think that's pretty doable. Okay, so go to work. I'll be around to help as needed.